The delay in replacement, once again, was a matter of putting the money together. The storage facility is extremely vital. We need every ounce of storage we have based on the demand. One might ask, well, what did you do in the 2 years that it was not working? Well, the thing would run by gravity to some degree until the system pressure equaled the head in the tank, but you're just gambling. It's a small investment to ensure the safety of our water supply.
David, how long would you say you've been working to make this work within your budget for the repurchases or purchasing new equipment?
I'd say just starting to juggle money. I think this thing went down 2 years ago, and then last year it just wasn't the right time, and this year we plugged it in.
Dave, what's the worst case, I mean, as far as damage, equipment damage, if something isn't, without having a generator, so if you lose power, don't have a generator backed up, or don't get it there in time, what's our loss, potentially?
Well, the worst thing that will happen is you do have, elevated tanks. However, this is what would be called a standpipe. So as it's depleted, well, two things would happen. Number one, in order to get it into the standpipe, you got to pump it from the underground tank. Number two, as soon as the head or the elevation of that tank equals system pressure or less, it doesn't do anything. Mm-hmm. So basically, without pumps, you basically risk being able to have any use of the storage facility.
So you basically dropped your backup water supply by 33%.
That's correct. So once again, you get into a fire situation, you have a major break where you lose storage very rapidly. It's just 1 million gallons we wouldn't have access to.
What is the cost of a generator that if we had to purchase one and just have it not a mobile generator? Was that an option? And is this generator more than we need?
I'm trying to think what we spent at public safety. I do not have that answer. Yes, this unit is a little more than we would need, but it's still a very serviceable low-hour generator, and is a good reuse of it. It would be more than what we're spending here.
To get a brand new one.
Yeah. Plus we have, I think the number of hours on that unit is probably 130 maybe. It's fairly low hours.
Was the generator that's installed out here in City Hall, was that adequate size?
That one would be overkill. It's what's there is about a 40 kilowatt. The unit we're putting in is 160 kilowatt. That unit out there is a 350 kilowatt. So, yeah, we're over generating a little bit, but still it's a generator we own. It's a good reuse of it.
Right, but I'm just curious why we didn't put that one there and use this on the smaller one. I mean, that one was essentially free, wasn't it? Didn't the electric utility install that?
Well, nothing's free.
Well, I don't remember where they came up with that generator, but as I recall, that they installed it at their cost, right?
That's correct. But the goal was to install it for City Hall to help the general fund. In this case, we're protecting our water.
By protecting the water, how much of the city would be affected, percentage-wise, if we weren't able, based on everything you said, head pressure and everything's being equal, what would that look like?
Well, it's just, once again, it's, all systems will draw down. Mm-hmm. It's just that much less storage we have available to us. As I mentioned, we reconfigured the piping systems so we can now pump to the north, pump back up the old transmission main so we can boost pressures to the northern part of the city, whereby before we were unable to do that.
How would council like to proceed with new business item number 6?
I move we authorize the city administrator to execute a contract with McKevin Incorporated for the downtown generator replacement project in an amount not to exceed $40,800.
Second.
Motion Morrow, second Freeman, that we authorize the city administrator to execute a contract with McKevin Inc. for the downtown generator replacement. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, David. Council update. We will be moving the,
At the last meeting, you requested staff
yes.
to put together a report regarding the savings created by the recent refinancing. Can I have that
Oh,
information?
fantastic, thank you.
Thank you, Dorian.
We'll be moving our first September meeting from the 3rd to the 4th in order to accommodate the Labor Day holiday, so we'll be working Tuesday that week. Anything else for council? Council, anything for staff?
Go ahead, Chris.
I've got an item. Back in December of last year, we started having discussions about setting up some kind of conduct of meeting policy. I wanted to just check with the other council members and see if anybody else was interested in pursuing that. Again, I realize that Heath and Randy weren't part of the discussions at that time, but, you know, just in the interest of running timely and orderly meetings, and allow all the council members a opportunity to ask questions and make comments and keep the discourse civil.
So is this really a question of whether we use some sort of formality such as Robert Rules of Order and make that, formalize that, I guess, or if we...
Or investigate a different, I mean, we looked at doing a policy similar to what the League of Kansas Municipalities has in place. Mike Press was here at the time, and he was suggesting a policy. I don't know that one had any traction at the time. But you know, if it's not going to be too much of a tax on staff time, you know, if we could research it and maybe come back with a recommendation at the next council meeting or something, I would like to see us possibly do something like that, but I am but one council member.
As I think in good faith, we should explore a code of conduct and how we present ourselves as a whole, not just as an individual councilman, to the city and how we engage each other. With that being said, maybe Robert's Rules of Orders is a good example of that, but more importantly, I think we need to set the precedent moving forward that we're here to do a job and do it civilly.
Well, Cheryl and I talked about this, and, you know, really, we have already, through an ordinance, we use Robert's Rules of Order, but what is needed is training, really. I mean, none of us observe it. I mean, we're supposed to take the, you know, make the motion, ask for a second, and then there's supposed to be discussion, and then the vote. Well, we do it, you know, we bring the item up, we talk about it first, then we, you know, go through the motions, and then then there's supposed to be a chance to talk about it again, but we don't do that. So really, it seems like, you know, it is a tried and true system, albeit it's lengthy, but the majority of the items in there are never used. There's only a handful that most organizations do use, and it would be helpful for all of us if we're going to, you know, since it's already codified with an ordinance, to just learn how to use it.
So are you suggesting, so one of the things in Robert's Rules is kind of limiting public speaking. I mean, so I guess if, I would be fine with pursuing that route if we had some flexibility on some of the, you know, if we had discussion about some of that stuff. I mean, I don't necessarily think that we need to limit public comments or
Does Robert's Rules of Order
I thought
limit?
it, yeah, it's.
Yeah, it does.
The issue with Robert's Rules of Order is the type of bodies that, to which it applies does not fit this model. So in the case of Robert's Rules of Order, we have voting members sitting out here, whereas, you know, in our situation, there's 5 voting members, in 6 in the case of a tie. So if we're going to use Robert's Rules as a model, then I think, you know, pieces of it that would be applicable, pull those out, and pieces that would not be applicable, don't. So you can't really adopt them as a whole. You know, the history around how it came to be is that most Kansas cities just said, yeah, Robert's Rules sounds good, but there are no Kansas cities that use Robert's Rules of Order. They all have their own methods for conducting meetings. You know, part of the discussion, as Christie indicated, regarding public comment. Right now, we have public comment at the beginning of the meeting prior to anything occurring, except for public hearings. It's been suggested, and, you know, without, you know, really a problem, that people would say, I want to speak on item number 5, and then there's a list, and then when item 5 comes up, the chair calls those people to come forward and speak, and then we go into discussion. You know, whether we move in second and then discuss, or discuss and then move in second, I mean, it's kind of not really germane to anything in particular, other than just the order in which it's done.
And the fact that there is an order to it, and it's a process that's
Well, there's an
been
order and
adopted.
process to it now, but and I think that's really what it boils down to, but really I think what we're talking about is a matter of you know, order in which people speak, and then start again and go through that order again and so on. And that's really all it comes down to. I think there's a lot of models out there. We probably ought to look at several and see what they, you know, how different councils, be it municipalities, be they county, manage it. Because I mean,
Yeah.
I think we should use local governing bodies as the benchmark. I don't think we should use the state legislature or the federal or the Congress as a benchmark, because it's just not applicable.
Yeah, well, and Robert's Rules of Order can be a little Byzantine in nature sometimes. You know, if you want to get really parliamentarian about it, you know, you've got to do a lot of study. Now, do we use all those parts? No, but you mentioned the county. I don't know if anybody else has watched any of the county commissioners meetings, but they seem to tick along at a pretty good rate. They actually allow public comment at the time of discussion
Of the
and
item.
yeah, of the item, and additionally, well, it seems like a lot. I want to say that the policy that was guiding it was maybe 21 or 22 pages long, possibly double-spaced, compared to, you know, Robert's Rules of Order, which, you know, you could kill a small rodent with. So I would just like to see something that's simple to navigate, and that we could go through and train on it once. If after election time we've got new members, that they could go through and train on it once, and then have a piece that could be referred back to without having to, you know, go spend, you know, $12.95 at Books A Million, or check it out from the library, or whatever. something that will fit right into the binder that we all get when we get seated as council members.
Well, I think training would be an important part or component of this. Otherwise, the adoption of whatever that's applicable to our needs is all for naught, kind of back to Larry's point. I think that we'd have to make a commitment, you know, as a current council and obviously those that take the seat thereafter, to make that commitment for training. I don't know if that's a weekend training or, you know, several hours over the course of several weeks, but I think the training would be just as important so we can navigate with each other and with the items at hand.
Well, and I agree with you and Larry on that, but if we adopt a different policy, maybe something similar to what another municipality is doing, maybe something similar to what the county's doing, it just simplifies matters. It probably makes the training a lot shorter period in process, and honestly, I don't mind spending more time doing the work of the citizens of Gardner. I don't mind staying late. I don't mind having extra meetings. I don't mind any of that stuff. But I, you know, I'd like for them to be conducted orderly and briskly and, you know, gosh, if we don't have to stay until 10 o'clock.
So is that something you can look at then,
maybe we
Cheryl?
can.
Sure.
Based on Mr. Morrow's?
Well, I was going to say, one of the things that I think is going to be critical, and I don't know at what point we do this, but, I mean, really, the goal should be to make not only us more functional, I guess, but also more open to the public engagement, because I think we hear feedback, at least I have, from people who have attended meetings or tried to speak. I mean, there's this level of intimidation for whatever reason, whether it's because of previous actions, because of the way conversations take place. But to me, that should be the forefront of what we're looking at, is how do we, you know, I don't care if there's 100 people out here or 10, people should feel comfortable and understand at what point, you know, things can happen. And so I don't think that we should try and hinder that. I will just add one other thing. It doesn't matter what we put in place. If we can't all treat each other with respect and act professionally, it doesn't matter what we have. So to me, that has to be part of the conversation as well. And I think we've all been guilty in some form of not recognizing that, so.
We can change the order of how people, you know, address the council now. I don't think that's a Robert's Rules issue. I think it's convention how we've done it. I agree that it's not conducive to, I mean, a person shouldn't have to come up 2 hours before the issue comes up and state their opinion on something when we're not even talking about it. So why don't we just change that right now? I mean, can't we just change that format without any further consideration?
Just need a process.
A motion, I move we.
Just need a process. We're not taking action because we don't take action on items that are not on the agenda. We will let Cheryl get this, bring it back either in several parts or one part, in pieces. If we need an action on how to move forward, we will, but we do not take action on items that were not previously noticed to the public.
I'm sure she's taken copious notes and can bundle what, you know, Larry's needs are, and Chris's, and Heath, and myself, and Christie. I mean, I think that's the intent of the exercise at the end of the day.
Yeah, and I don't know that Robert's Rules says you can't make a motion that's not on the agenda. I mean, that's a very good place to start. I mean, I think it allows for anyone to make a motion at any time in the meeting about.
And that's why Robert's Rules are not generally applicable to bodies such as this, because we have a process for noticing the public about which items we are going to be taking action and discussing at a meeting and debating at a meeting, and by moving actions onto agenda without properly noticing the public gives the appearance that we're attempting to take action outside the public eye. So in that case, I think Cheryl has instruction on how to proceed, and we'll see something back in the near future, whatever that may be, and on we go. Anything else?
I had one other thing not related to this topic. I had a great conversation with Jeff and the Parks Department, and Jeff, you're gonna have to chime in, but he had a city member that has no children, has been a long-standing city member, give you some great highlights about your facilities and, you know, how far Gardner has gone. And, you know, I told Jeff, I said, those are the positive things that we need to, you know, get out there, whether it's in this setting or the newspaper, or what have you. And I just wanted to ask Jeff if he could, I'm kind of getting you on the spot, but if you could recant that just for...
Sure, I'd be happy to. It was a pleasant conversation, had with a gentleman meeting at the recent chamber coffee, and he just made it a point to pull me aside, if you will, and express his extreme happiness with how things have developed within our park system over the years. He's a long-time resident, and just made it a point to talk about some of the changes we've done facility-wise and program-wise, and it was nice for him to make that effort and point some of those things out. Certainly, we focus on some of the things we want to improve or negative comments you may receive, but we get some of the positive ones too. So.
Well, with your limited funds and, you know, when I moved to town, that beautiful swimming pool facility was being installed, and, you know, he's got me by a number of years, you know. But I think, you know, it's just worth noting that you and your team have done a great job with those funds over the course of the past.
Appreciate that.
I guess I should extend the thanks of citizen who told me to tell the Public Works Department, thank you for getting rid of the speed bump on Main Street.
Well, actually, let me clarify that was KDOT actually did that.
Did they cut it out?
KDOT did the work. I do understand one of our staff members may have talked to them and maybe talked the crew into getting it done, but I can claim no credit for it. The KDOT went ahead and did that, and they did it last week.
Was that a result of the heat and
No, I
ground shifting, or was it just the...
think it's been long-standing. I think it basically had concrete pavement with an asphalt abutting and just shoving and pushing. So, yeah, a very simple but much appreciated improvement for all.
Anything else? I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion Harrison, second Morrow, or Freeman, that we adjourn. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
I've got to sign something. Don't forget to sign.
Laura left something? Okay.
Even if we did vote, we voted against it. I think I seem to recall we had this discussion last year, and I still didn't sign it, so.
You are not required to sign it. It passes, so.
So it's not really like, it's just taking 2 lines. I don't know if I did that, but I think it's just possible.
Not a problem, Mr. Hamilton.
Very good.
It says governing body.
In and out.
I remember you going to the jelly bean show at the high school.
Oh, that was awesome. I
Yeah,
talked to,
they're doing another one this year with
the-
another one with all the special ed kids in there.
great.